Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So I've got some big garage updates going on right here. So for starters, the Mousemobile is all sorted out, but I'm selling it. As you saw in the title of this video, yes, it's true. I'm finally selling it after 5.5 years of thorough enjoyment of this car. Finally gonna let her go, move on to bigger and better things. So I know I've already said in the previous video I did with this car, which was how to drive a manual transmission, that I'm selling it. And yes, I have found a new Mousemobile. I'm going to keep that a surprise for right now, but I will say it is an American plug-in hybrid. That's my only hint. So no, I have not bought a Ford Maverick. And to be honest, they're kind of overrated. Like the hybrid Maverick, it's only like 155 horsepower from what I recall, so it's not that much. So it's not going to be that fast. The car I did get has almost 200 horsepower, and it's a plug-in hybrid, which I think is wicked cool. But I think you guys are in for quite the treat, but I'm keeping the car I bought private until I sell the Mousemobile 2.0. And that being said, probably am going to have to take off the Mousemobile badges real soon. But anyway, this car has just over 97,000 miles on it. New shift boot installed. The clutch no longer has any issues. I had to replace the master cylinder at the dealership. Wasn't cheap. It was like $800. And then I took the car to the shop and had them correct. Had them correct what else was wrong with the clutch pedal, which was sort of a ringing sound, and there was a tad bit of play, but now that's all resolved. Clutch is still very smooth, as I would expect with a new master cylinder. But yeah, so I just think it's a little frustrating that it took 2 months from when I first started having problems with the clutch pedal for it to finally be resolved. And a new clutch did not solve the problem, but the car needed a new clutch anyway. So that's like $2,600 down the drain for the new clutch and the new master cylinder, both of which were replaced this year. The new car I'm buying is from CarMax, and CarMax only offered me $11,500. So $11,500, and sadly, no, they aren't going to take any more money for the winter tires I have. So I am going to have to list those for sale because I'm not giving those away for free. I just got them last winter season. Tires and wheels cost me $1,300, so I want at least $800 for them, because they've only been used one season. Wheels are brand new, never been damaged. They're black wheels, so they look amazing on this car. But anyway, enough about the Mousemobile for right now. We're moving on to the Ford. So I think, if I recall correctly, last week this mirror got damaged when the car was reversing out into the driveway. It hit right there. Now, I'm not going to say who did it, but it was not me that did it. Part has been ordered. The car was just at the dealer today. It was serviced. So we're going to have to go back probably the week after next week to get that part put in. And I say that because my parents are going to be out of town next week, and it's just going to be me and my brother just having bro time. And there's going to be a pizza ranch opening in Shorewood. I'm probably going to take him there as part of our bro time one of these days while we're just home alone. Assuming it's open, because I had Pizza Ranch in Rhinelander last month, and it was like the best pizza I've ever had. But yeah, that being said, this car was in the dealership today, and as such, I have rented a Ram 1500 Bighorn, which I will go over briefly. Something smells like fireworks. Wow. All right. But yeah, other than that, the only other thing I've noticed damage-wise to this car is, you see right here, the license plate in the front is all bent. Well, there's also some damage here on the grill, and then right here we got a hairline crack. If I just push it in briefly, you can see where it's cracked. I'm not going to do it too much because I don't want to mess it up even worse than it already is. That happened about a year or two ago, I want to say, but yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. The Mercedes, nothing really big going on with it other than the fact that it's going to the shop next month for service. We're going to rent another S-Class while it's in the shop. Awesome car. We've only really had problems with it in 2021. So last year we caught ourselves a break. This year it's been nothing but good to us as well. So not too worried about it. We just had the wiper blades changed out at the dealership last month. And interestingly enough, these front brake rotors here are the original rotors. They are 7 years old and they have not needed to be replaced. Well, the dealership told me the pads and rotors had 70% life left because you do your rotors when you do your pads. So that just has me thinking, should I be concerned? And then I was told, well, it's like a something to do with the brake system that applies the rear brakes more. It was like a crosswind assist feature. So that's why the rear brakes had to be done 2 years ago, and the fronts are still good. It's amazing to think the front brakes, I mean, if taken care of properly, can last well over 10 years, maybe even 15, if you're lucky to have the car that long. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, this car isn't going anywhere anytime soon. The earliest it would leave would be 2026 in favor of something electric, because I know how much my mom hates pumping gas, which is why I always do it for her. But anyway, let's talk about this. The elephant in the room, the Ram 1500 Rebel. So, because the dealership we take the Ford to no longer does loaners and probably never will again, because it used to be a Ford and Lincoln dealer, now it's just a Ford dealer. But ever since the coronavirus pandemic, there's been an ongoing industry-wide vehicle shortage the last 2 years, which drives me crazy. But as such, even loaner cars are becoming scarce at many dealerships, including that one. So, yeah, haven't really had the best of luck even when we really needed a loaner. So I've decided against going to the dealership because, well, shuttle service was not that great. I had to deal with a couple other people in the shuttle, including one whining and complaining about not recommending the dealer just because they don't have loaners. I mean, yeah, it's frustrating, and I feel the same frustration, but to not recommend the dealership just because of that is pathetic, because there are many other dealerships dealing with the exact same problem. But yeah, so the first time I rented a truck from Enterprise, it was also a Ram 1500, but that was a Rebel. This is a Bighorn. Couple key differences. The Rebel had LED headlights and it had a V8. This has a V6 and it has halogen headlights, but there's a caveat because this truck is pretty well equipped, fully loaded even, if I do say so myself, for a Bighorn. It's got remote start, which the Rebel did not have. You just press lock and then press the button twice on the key fob. Truck starts up, parking lights light up to indicate that it's running. And then to cancel that, you just press the remote start button once. Truck shuts off, lights shut off, you're good to go. And you can do that 2 times before you have to cycle the ignition on and off to reset it. But yeah, I've been driving this around all day. It's a very good truck, if I do say so myself. Go ahead and fire it up. Very smooth steering. This isn't going to be an in-depth review by any means, just what I think of the truck and the fact that I like this more than the F-150 I was in last month, mainly because of how this rides. It is so smooth, so comfortable. The F-150 I had last month when I took it to Rhinelander for Siren Con, that truck, I just could not get over how bumpy the suspension was. Like, it was just awful, and the truck had just under 60,000 miles, whereas this has just under 50,000 miles. It's also a 2020, just like the F-150, and the suspension is significantly smoother. The truck drives amazingly, and one other difference I'll note is the V6 in this truck is naturally aspirated. The one in the F-150 I had was the 2.7 liter EcoBoost, which is a twin turbo V6. So you can see this is a 3.6 all motor, baby. But yeah, I do wish this had the LED headlights, but it is what it is, and I do like the fact that it has more features than the Rebel I had in the winter when my car went to the shop one time. 20-inch wheels. But yeah, as far as how I like this truck's acceleration, when you're in the higher RPMs, I do tend to notice that it doesn't have as much power as the 2.7 EcoBoost. Same deal with the 5.7 V8 in the Rebel. But the throttle response at lower RPMs is much better than the Ford. Another thing I really like about all Ram 1500s is the automatic parking brake. So when you buckle up and put it into gear, the brake goes off automatically. And then you also have a setting where you can have the brake automatically apply when you put it back into park. You just toggle the auto parking brake menu here, make sure the check mark is in the box. If it's not, it won't work. Also, one thing that I find weird is these newer Rams have the daytime running lights disabled from the factory, whereas the previous generation Ram 1500 had them enabled from the factory, and you couldn't turn them off unless you set the parking brake, of course. So that I find weird, but other than that, I mean, it's a pretty easy fix. You just turn it on in the settings. So, like I said, automatic parking brake, you just put it in park, brake comes on automatically, you don't have to worry about it. But one thing I will note is if you don't have your belt buckled and you put it in gear, the brake stays on even if you tap the gas. So in order to get that brake to automatically release, you buckle up and then you can tap the gas, and now the parking brake's off. So it's a very safe truck just because of that. And I like the automatic parking brake feature for convenience. The switch is down here, so One complaint I noticed that a lot of drivers have is with an automatic parking brake, they don't like it because it doesn't release automatically. Well, Fiat Chrysler thought of that. So all you have to do is buckle up, put it in gear, and the brake goes off automatically. Whereas Mercedes-Benz, when they first added that feature, the brake did not release automatically unless you put your foot on the gas while it was in gear. So Mercedes-Benz responded by changing that for the 2017 and newer models. And it also does have a warning when the key fob is no longer in proximity of the interior. Let's go ahead and check out the back. It's pretty roomy back here. Lots of charging options. You do have 2 USB-C ports and regular USB ports. Same deal in the front. So 8 different charging ports aside from the regular 12-volt power outlet. Let me get some lights on here so you can see what I'm doing. So this is a 120-volt outlet in the back, but you do have a 12-volt up here in the front as well. Additional cup holders. Ooh, that's weird. That must be from somebody who rented this truck previously. I'm gonna have to throw that away now. Something else that's interesting is you might be wondering what this switch is for. Well, it doesn't have a sunroof, so what does it do? Opens the rear window. That is wicked cool. It's not a one-touch, so you do have to hold it, but it's nice to have. And then interior lighting. I like to set it to door, so it automatically turns on the lights when you open the door. And then manual reading lights. You also do have garage door home link, which I'm not sure why a rental truck would have that, but it's good for resale purposes. Fully automatic climate control. Neither of the 2 previous trucks I rented had that. Not the Rebel, not the F-150, but this Bighorn does. And then you also do have toggles down here to turn off traction control, turn on tow haul mode, and turn on and off your parking sensors in the rear and the front. So you do have a tow haul icon right here, which is blocked by the speedometer when you're parked or stopped, and then traction control off, that's in your tachometer. And then you also do have fog lights and your bed light. And the bed light comes on automatically when you open the door, but you can still turn that off if you don't want it on. And then you do have fully automatic headlights. No automatic high beams on this truck in particular, but you can opt for that. Same deal with LED headlights. So you turn it 1 click counterclockwise, that's manual on, parking lights, and then all the way off. And then all the way to the right is auto. And then you do have the fog lights that retain their setting no matter what. In the Ford F-150, if you turn it to off and you had the fog lights on while in on or auto, you would have to reset that. And it also does have power adjusting pedals. Pretty cool, if I do say so myself. And then you also do have auto start stop and your 4-wheel drive controls. So right now it's in 2 high. You also do have 4 auto, then 4 high, and then to go into 4 low you go into neutral, and then you push and hold for low. It disables auto park, and then to go back into high range, you push the desired button and hold like you did with for low. So for example, if I want to go back to two-wheel drive, there you go. Push and hold. So I'm going to show you the different icons up here. So for high, for auto, and then two-wheel drive, you don't see anything. Well, one other thing is in the middle here you have this button which will light up in red if it's active. This is for neutral on the transfer case. So make sure you're in neutral, parking brakes on, firmly hold the foot brake, and then you hold this for a few seconds. Okay, maybe I'm not holding it in far enough. Well, anyway, I don't feel like doing it, so back into park. I've already shown how that works in another video I did with my aunt's Jeep. So if you want to see how for neutral works, check out that video. But until next time, that's pretty much going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed this garage update, smash that thumbs up in the face. Turn on post notifications, subscribe if you're new, and do what you do best. Peace out until next time.